Good Friday evening, January 3rd, and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. The death of a Grant County inmate this week will be investigated by two outside agencies. Thad Lawson, the former charity operator ordered to pay $1.5 million to victims of sexual harassment, is also in debt to his former attorneys. Expect lowland rain and more mountain snow this weekend. Your local weather forecast is coming up. Trial is set to begin Monday for the Upper Valley man accused of committing murder in the course of a drug deal. 35-year-old Travis Earl Collins has been in jail since February in the killing of Julio Cesar Garcia Ramirez, who was found shot to death next to his idling truck in the 1700 block of Rock Island Road south of East Wenatchee. Collins is charged with first-degree murder and robbery for allegedly stealing Garcia's cell phone. Douglas County investigators say Garcia was involved in selling cocaine, and he exchanged multiple text messages with Collins to arrange a sale on the night he was murdered. Garcia died from a gunshot wound to the head, but the firearm was never found. Collins' attorney says there are no fingerprints tying him to the crime. Jury selection is scheduled to start Monday morning. The death of a Grant County inmate this week will be investigated by two outside agencies. 31-year-old Richard Lambert of Moses Lake was found deceased Tuesday morning in his dormitory bed in the Grant County Jail. Sheriff Joe Crete, whose office supervises the jail, announced yesterday the circumstances of Lambert's death would be reviewed by the multi-agency Columbia Basin Investigative Team. The Benton County Sheriff's Office will also conduct an administrative investigation into the jail's policies. Crete says both investigations are likely to be lengthy, and the outcomes of both will be shared with the public. The Chelan County Commissioners will hold a public hearing on January 14th to take comment on proposed updates to the short-term rental code. Earlier this year, County Commissioners asked the Planning Commission to review certain portions of the short-term rental code, which was adopted in July of 2021. A county press release said the November 13th Planning Commission public hearing drew attendance from 75 people online and another 40 in person. According to the Wenatchee World, the proposed changes, which can be found on the county website, include changes to the occupancy requirements, excluding children younger than 24 months from the requirements. The public hearing will begin at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, January 14th at Confluence Technology Center, and that's located at 285 Technology Way in Wenatchee. Link Transit is rolling out earlier trips and changes to service this month. Beginning Monday, January 6th, weekday changes will include an added Route 2 East Wenatchee to Walmart, a 6 a.m. trip, with added early morning Route 9 South Wenatchee and Route 11 East Wenatchee trips. Some weekday Route 22 Wenatchee to Leavenworth trips will shift to later times by 5 to 10 minutes as well. Several trips from Wenatchee to Chelan, Leavenworth, and Cashmere have been added to Link's weekend service. For more information on the updates, new schedule books are already available, and Link's online schedules will automatically update on Monday morning. When we come back, East Wenatchee police say someone made a false report to RiverCom early this morning that led police and rescue agencies to converge on a private home. And new estimates of Washington's language populations finds that roughly 36% of Chelan County residents have limited proficiency in English. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
It's true. Health Alliance and Assurance Northwest Medicare Advantage plans are terminating coverage, and they will no longer be available for you beginning January 1st, 2025. So you have two big options. One, join one of the two new Medicare Advantage plans, WellCare or Humana. Or number two is go back to original Medicare and join a supplement and a Part D drug plan. But there's so much more to discuss here, so here are some suggestions to get you started. Go to our website or call your local Springwater Insurance office for more information.
Who's trying to stretch their budget this January? That's pretty much all of us. That's why Abby's is offering this giant pizza that can feed up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 hungry people for less than $27. Now, that's an Abby's budget stretching deal. Worried about a no-fun January? Not at Abby's. Dine on our Bacon Cheddar Special. It's delicious and loaded with toppings and real cheese. Plus, it's on sale, and the kids can play some video games. Enjoy fun January at your local Abby's.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
East Wenatchee police say someone made a false report to RiverCom early this morning that led police and rescue agencies to converge on a private home. Police Sergeant Ben Faulkner says responders arrived at the home on 19th Street Northeast in East Wenatchee about 12:30 a.m. to investigate a reported shooting, only to find no victim, no emergency, and no one with any knowledge of the call. Police, fire, and ambulance services were all mobilized for the report. Faulkner says the residents told police they'd been dealing with a case of online identity theft, and the phony call may have stemmed from that situation. The former charity operator ordered to pay $1.5 million to victims of sexual harassment is also in debt to his former attorneys. Thad Lawson and his nonprofit agency, Operation Veterans Assistance and Humanitarian Aid, were found liable in June for harassing or otherwise victimizing 12 women who worked at or visited the Veteran Warehouse thrift shop. Lawson and his wife, as well as their nonprofit, also owe more than $655,000 to the Washington Attorney General's office, which prosecuted the case. And just before Christmas, the Lawsons were found in default after their former law firm, Seattle Litigation Group, sued them for more than $83,000 in unpaid fees. Court records show they did not file any response to the suit after they were served with papers in September. A Chelan County Court Commissioner signed the order of default on December 18th. New estimates of Washington's language populations finds that roughly 36% of Chelan County residents have limited proficiency in English. The trend holds true in neighboring Douglas County, where the estimate is roughly 37%. The State Office of Financial Management based the numbers on enrollment of students learning English as a second language, as well as the number of people accessing government services through an interpreter. Spanish is the primary non-English language spoken in both counties. The rate of limited English proficiency was even greater in Grant County at just over 42%. Coming up next in tonight's feature story, we will tell you how the Public Works Department prepares for an incoming snowstorm. More wet weather is expected this weekend with dry and warmer conditions next week. I'll have your full local weather forecast coming up. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
Central Washington Water is your solution for problem water. Whether you're on a well or municipal water, they can design a clean water system custom to you. Soft water eliminates water spots and scaling on fixtures. It protects appliances from hard water damage, saving you money. Soft water reduces soap usage that causes skin irritation and is a healthier choice to drink. Call for a free in-home consultation or stop by the store to have your water tested. Central Washington Water, your best water solution for home, pool, and spa.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, located on South Wenatchee Ave, has the largest selection of spas and swim spas in town. Stay cool this summer in an artesian swim spa and use it all year long. We enjoy helping families reconnect one spa at a time. Hot tubs are proven to improve sleep and decrease arthritis pain. Our passion is water, so please bring us a water sample, and we will help you diagnose your pool or spa water for free. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, your pool and spa experts.
When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
Well, watching today's snow, you might have wondered how the city of Wenatchee gets prepared for an incoming snowstorm and what its strategies are for snow already on the streets. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE News spoke recently with two Wenatchee Public Works administrators whose job involves clearing the avenues when the white stuff gets in the way.
I'm Aaron Kelly. I'm a Public Works Operations Manager here, so I oversee the streets, fleet, and the facilities.
Hello, my name's Andy Greer. I am the Street Maintenance Supervisor for the City of Wenatchee.
Here we have 19 of some of our fleet, which is about 19 vehicles to be able to deal with snow removal. Here's a couple of graders. We can kind of move on here and see a couple others.
So what you'll see here is a road grader. This one's actually a rental. We own 4, we rent 2 for winter operations. This is what you're gonna see probably out in front, typically. You know, it's roughly a 50, 60,000 pound machine. It can move a lot of snow. So this is a anti-icing, de-icing truck setup, computer controlled, varying amounts per lane mile. You might see this, you'll see the stripes on traveled lanes, and that's what's putting it down.
For street maintenance, it's about 19 different vehicles. Now, that does include 2 snow blowers, which might not be deployed right away. This is for when we're removing the snow berms. And we have 2, one basically as a backup, as to be able to be ready if whether or not one breaks down. Some years are a lot more hours and some are a lot less. Typically, a typical snowstorm, which is hard to be able to say what that is, but is between 6 to maybe 800 hours by the time that we get everything cleaned up. The one from earlier this week, I'd say it was probably between 300 to 400 hours, probably at the kind of the high end of it.
We take the approach of being proactive with a anti-icing treatment that we apply prior to a snow event. And that consists of a salt brine. So this is the salt that we're using. It's coated with a proprietary blend. This product is called Ice Kicker. You can take a peek at that. Gotcha. The claim to fame with this is that it is 50% less corrosive than your typical rock salt. And that's why we've chosen to use this off the qualified product list. It's a balancing act. That's why we decided to convert this granule product into a brine solution, which allows us to use less of it. We've got the capacity to hold 13,000 gallons of it at a time. When it's running great, those can be filled in about 20 minutes. So right here we've got a wheel loader, and it's got a front mounted snow blower. This would be utilized after the storm has passed and the center berm removal down in the central business district that we've all seen. As you can see, it's quite the blower. Moving on, this is a 1.5 ton truck that you might see running around. And this might be used for alleys, cul-de-sacs. Some of the steeper stuff it works good in, the narrow stuff. So this particular truck, this tanker truck here, actually has dual purpose. In the summertime, it's our water truck. And in the wintertime, it's another de-ice truck. This is another 10-yard dump truck that's got a front blade on it and another poly tank in the back. This one applies the de-icer as well. So this is a 5-yard truck, single axle with a frame-mounted sander and with a plow in the front. This is what you're going to see behind one of the road graders. January of 22, where we received the 24 inches in 24 hours. That was quite challenging. The other one that I could think of was probably back in the early 2000s. We had a freezing rain event, a little bit of an ice storm, and that was quite dangerous. The first priority is classified streets that are arterial collectors. All of Wenatchee Avenue, SR 285, Mission Chelan, Western, all the ups and downs such as Cherry, Castle Rock, Washington, Orchard. Those are all priority 1 streets. After that, priority 1 streets are cleared. Crews will move to priority 2, which is going to be your residential streets, alleys, cul-de-sacs, etc.
Right off the bat, at first is just to be patient, plan some extra time in your commute. I mean, I think we've all probably kind of heard those things. Stopping distances have got to be greater. At the same time, I think we would want to ask the public just to be able to be patient. Usually right after a snowstorm, we're out there, but we can't necessarily hit all 275 lane miles in the city instantly. So it's going to take some time.
Time now for a check of your north central Washington weather forecast. Hope your Friday was a good one. Woke up to snow, about 2 to 3 inches in Wenatchee area and about 4 to 5 inches over in East Wenatchee. So a good snow and a lot of moisture with that. We will update our moisture total on Monday, but this is a lot what we were seeing this morning. And this is also, actually it's Lake Wenatchee, but this is also what we're going to see as we get into the upcoming weekend. A couple of storm systems will move through, and that means mountain snow for Saturday morning and then once again on Saturday afternoon. I think a good chunk of our viewing area will be snow free throughout the weekend with maybe some rain showers Saturday night. But boy, above 4,000 feet, be careful. If you're driving to Stevens, 8 to 12 inches of snow is possible in that time frame Saturday night into Sunday afternoon. So if your travels take you west, be very, very careful out there. Today's high temperature about where we've been for the last 3 or 4 days, 34 degrees, 32 is where we should be for a high this time of year. Our record high, a beautiful 51, and that was set in 1963. 32 our low this morning, 23 is our normal low, and our record 1 below zero set in 1993. Another 6/100ths of an inch of precip. That was up until midnight this morning, so that will be updated, as I mentioned, when we get together on Monday. And so far this year, about a 10th. But we did add to our snow total, now at 23 inches for this winter season. Sunrise this morning, 7:48. Sunset at 4:23. All right, getting into those Saturday temperatures. Once again, going to be a lot like today. 37 for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 36 for Quincy, 34 down in Ellensburg, and then mid-30s from Wenatchee through Eniat, Chelan, and up into Omak. Also basically mid-30s for Leavenworth and Cashmere with Lake Chelan tomorrow. High temperature of 31. All right, tonight we can expect cloudy skies as this storm system continues to move to the east. Area of high pressure beginning to build, but it won't do that until the end of the weekend. Most of the snow tonight in the Rockies. We will see low temperatures tonight around 30 degrees. Getting into the weekend on Saturday, cloudy skies throughout most of the day. Showers in western Washington, but as we get into the evening hours, that fills in, and that'll be an 80% chance that we'll see rain and snow Saturday night. Highs during the day tomorrow, again in those mid-30s. For Sunday, morning showers are possible with clearing skies in the afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy by afternoon on Sunday, with highs once again pretty consistent into the mid-30s. And then as we kick off our first full week of 2025, look at that, mostly sunny skies with high pressure, and we're talking a strong area of high pressure building in Monday. Look at that, high temperatures near 40 degrees to kick off our next work week. By Tuesday, this nice weather is going to continue throughout most of next week. Tuesday, some high clouds. That's the gray you see there, but temperatures still pretty decent into the mid and upper 30s for Tuesday. Wednesday, our weather is going to stay pretty much dry. We'll also see plenty of sun on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies and mild. Again, high temperatures near 40 degrees. And keep in mind, our normal is 32 for this time of year. And then by the end of our forecast on Thursday, high pressure entrenched in the west, and we will see lots of sunshine as we get you into the end of the week next week. High temperatures again pretty comfortable in the mid to upper 30s. All right, your 7-day forecast, 30 overnight tonight, a chance for Evening rain and snow tomorrow night, about an 80% chance for that Saturday. Slight chance for morning rain and snow on Sunday and 34. And then a nice warm up with some sun as we get into Monday. High temperature of 39. A mixture of clouds and sun Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with high temperatures generally in the mid to upper 30s. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Watch the Apple Blossom Festival Top 10 process on the NCWLIFE channel on Tuesday, January 7th, with the top 10 speeches at 1 o'clock and the announcement at 6. Coverage is brought to you in part by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Together for Youth, and Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Watch the top 10 speeches live on Facebook and the top 10 announcements on the stream and TV on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
BC Outdoor Sport Fishing TV, Season 14. Join your host Mike Mitchell and his special guests as they explore some of the most exciting fisheries BC has to offer. BC Outdoors Sport Fishing TV. Check your listings for airtimes.
Happy Finally Friday. The Kraken scrapped again in overtime last night, eventually falling in a shootout to Vancouver, 4-3 the final. Chandler Stevenson put Seattle on the board before fans at Climate Pledge Arena had a chance to warm up their seats. Seattle's back on home ice tomorrow night against Edmonton at 7 o'clock. It's up on both King 5 and Kong TV. Even though the playoffs are out of the reach for the Seahawks, several players will be reaching for personal milestones. Seattle wraps up the season in L.A. Sunday against the Rams. Jackson Smith-Njigba is just 5 catches away from breaking Tyler Lockett's single-season reception record with the Seahawks. Lockett said he'll be cheering for JSN.
Obviously, I think, when you have records, there's a part of you where you might not want that record to be broken or whatever, but records are meant to be broken. For me, I just want to be able to be in full support. I think for me, the biggest thing is if you can be able to show love and support to the people coming up, then they will be able to continue to do that through and through. And that's what creates a good atmosphere. That's what creates a great team or a great position group. If you are the person that's I just want mine and I don't want anybody to get theirs, then it becomes, okay, is this next person going to follow in that same protocol, or are they going to try to be able to change something and make it that much more better? And so, I just wanted to take that approach to show love and show support and just be there with people as they start to reach their peak and start to perform at a high level.
Lockett was asked if he'd like to return to Seattle and play again after this season.
I plan on playing next year. I'm not the GM, buddy, so I can't make that decision. I mean, obviously, even when I got the chance to come here, come back this year to start this new regime and kind of build this new team that Mike wants to be able to build, I got a chance to be a part of that, and I got a chance to be able to come back because I didn't know if I was going to be able to come back for this season, because sometimes with a new team comes a new culture, new atmosphere, new identity, new everything. And so the fact that they brought me back, I think that spoke a lot of volumes.
Meanwhile, Geno Smith has a chance to reach several performance incentives in Sunday's game, which could add $6 million to his salary for the season.
Yeah, I mean, you got to appreciate him saying that, just being open and honest about it. Coach understands. And he's always been that way, and I think that's what makes him who he is. I think that's why guys respect him, because he's pretty honest in his assessment with everything. And so appreciate him for that. As far as milestones and stuff, I kind of let those things just take care of themselves. I got to go out there and play football and do the right thing no matter what happens. Obviously, like I said, man, you want to hit those. You want to achieve all the things that you can achieve, but well within the respects of the game. So just going out there and playing football, obviously it's going to be on your mind. You know about it, but you try not to think about it. You just go out there and do the right thing and, let the chips fall where they may.
Seahawks and Rams kick off at 1:25 on Fox. That's the same time on Fox that they'll be airing Arizona and San Francisco. Well, Gonzaga remain unbeaten in West Coast Conference play in a big win over Portland last night. The Bulldogs, ranked 19th, beat the Pilots 81-50 in the Community Cancer Fund Classic at Spokane Arena. Other action, Eastern Washington fell at home to Montana at 92-81. Washington beat Maryland in Seattle 75-69. On the men's schedule tomorrow, Eastern hosts Montana State at 2 o'clock. San Francisco visits Washington State at 4. Gonzaga plays at Loyola Marymount at 6. All those games on ESPN+. Washington hosts 22nd ranked Illinois Sunday at 1 o'clock. That's on the Big Ten Network. The women's college basketball scoreboard had Montana downing Eastern Washington 78-70. Santa Clara topped Washington State 68-62, and Gonzaga edged Portland 76-71. Women's slate tomorrow begins at noon with Oregon State at Washington State. Eastern Washington visits Montana State at 1. Gonzaga hosts Santa Clara at 2. Haley Van List TCU Horned Frogs host Cincinnati. That's tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Those earlier games on ESPN+. The Big Ten game will be on the Big Ten Network. Checking the prep girls basketball scoreboard from last night. Wenatchee fell to Post Falls 62-30. Eastmont blasted County Benton 48-18. Manson down Moses Lake Christian 40-19. And Forks got by Pateros over at Mount Vernon Christian 58-45. Busy girls schedule today began earlier with Liberty Bell at Elmira Cooley Heartline. Moses Lake traveling to Lewis and Clark. Waterville Mansfield hosting Curlew. Bridgeport's playing at Entiat. Pateros facing Orcas Island at Mount Vernon Christian. 5:30 games have Wenatchee hosting Newport. Post Fall visits Eastmont. Ephrata hosts Othello. Quincy welcomes Ellensburg. Cascade plays at Cashmere. Okanagan hosts Brewster at 6, while Republic visits Oroville. Coming up tomorrow gets underway at 1 o'clock with Eastmont hosting Newport. Wenatchee's looking for its first win of the season against County Benton at 1. Lake Roosevelt visits White Swan at 1:30. The 3:30 games have Ephrata at Ellensburg. Quincy's at East Valley. Brewster hosts Cle Elum. Manson welcomes Wilbur Creston Keller. Cashmere hosts Wapato at 3:45. Oroville's at Curlew at 4:30, while Entiat hosts Wilson Creek. Omak heads down the road to face Okanagan at 6. Waterville Mansfield visits Davenport also at 6 o'clock. On the boys' courts last night, Eastmont beat Kybee 68-59. Post Falls walloped Wenatchee 74-30. Moses Lake Christian got by Manson 61-52. Wilson Creek beat Pateros 69-45. Up on tap today, Liberty Bell's on the road at ACH, while Waterville Mansfield's hosting Curlew. Later is Bridgeport at Entiat. Ephrata hosts Othello. Quincy hosts Ellensburg. Cashmere hosts Cascade at 7:15. 7:30 games have Juanita at Wenatchee. Eastmont's hosting Post Falls. Brewster's at Okanagan. Oroville hosts Republic. Coming up tomorrow, Mabton faces Tonasket in Soap Lake at 1. Eastmont's hosting Juanita at 2:30, while Wenatchee takes on County Benton. Lake Roosevelt visits White Swan. Waterville Mansfield plays at Davenport at 4:30. Ellensburg hosts Ephrata at 5, while Quincy at East Valley. Brewster hosting Cle Elum, and Manson at Wilbur Creston Keller. Wapato visits Cashmere at 5:15. Oroville travels to Curlew at 6, while Entiat is hosting Wilson Creek. Okanagan hosts Omak at 7:30. Ephrata no match for Othello in CWAC wrestling last night. The Huskies beat up the Tigers 62-9. Coming up tomorrow, two big two-day tournaments. Actually, today and tomorrow, Wenatchee and 19 other schools at the Pacific Northwest Classic at University High School. Cashmere, Liberty Bell, Moses Lake, and 166 other teams at the Gut Check Tournament. That's at the ShoWare Center. Eastmont, Okanagan, Quincy, and 12 other schools are at the Cheney Invite tomorrow. Cascade's hosting 15 other high schools for the Bavarian Wrestling Tournament. Brewster, Ephrata, Tonasket, and 13 other schools at the Banks Lake Brawl. That's at Elmira Cooley Heartline tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Well, the Wenatchee Wild are in travel mode over the next 3 days. Wenatchee's in Vancouver tonight to face the Giants at 7. The Wild head for south on I-5 to Portland tomorrow to face the Winterhawks at 6. Wenatchee will be in Kennewick Sunday at 4:05 to puck drop against the Tri-City Americans. You can hear all the calls locally on 560 KPQ with our good buddy, Austin Drawley. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a great weekend.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at ncwlife.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app for iPhone and Android. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. Email us at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great weekend.